Welcome on into the show. We got a lot of interviews to get to as we go hyper-local on you this week. But first, of course, it's the headlines, and they're powered by the Red Zone over on Regent Street and Conant Automotive in Stoughton. Yes, we get you up to date with headlines next, right here on the Sports News on Wisconsin's 57 Sports. Hey, time now for the headlines. You're looking at the tackles, hits, checks, and dunks that make up the local sports scene. I am Rich Reynolds, and let's hit the ground running. You know, last week we talked about the perennial power that is UW Whitewater football. The national championships, the 33-game home playoff win streak, the numerous D3 All-Americans, etc., etc. Yes, we all know. But we didn't mention the rise of their current conference rival, the UW Oshkosh Titans. Well, Saturday in Oshkosh, the Titans vanquished the team that knocked out the Warhawks last week, John Carroll, and are moving on to the Stag Bowl for the first time in school history. The Titans rode their trademark defense to a 10-3 win, improving to 13-1 on the season, their only blemish coming to the Warhawks. And the Titans will take on Mary Hardin Baylor, who upset Mount Union. The game is set for Saturday in Salem, Virginia. It's been a strange year in sports, to say the least. The Chicago Cubs won the World Series, Army defeated Navy for the first time in a decade and a half, and the Detroit Lions are leading the NFC North in the middle of December, yes. But one thing we can count on to put us all back on track, yes, is the high school football awards season, which is chock full of athletes and coaches we highlighted during our A1 Furniture and Mattress High School Bowl series right here on Wisconsin's 57. Now, in case you missed any of the action, you can check out our YouTube page for every single game. Now, to summarize, though, Greg Sprout and the good people over at the Wisconsin State Journal handed out their all-area team, led by the coach over at Monona Grove, that's Brandon Beckwith, of course. Player of the Year in lineman Caden Lyles, who is heading to the UW next year, and Monona Grove signal caller Alex Ogden. Other notables included Ben Dunkelberger of Lake Mills, Madison Abundant Life tailback Obia Wagwu, Javian Dane of Wanakee, and Columbus road grader Josh Seltzner, while the all-area defense was paced by Wanakee defensive back Tyler Mays, Verona defensive end TJ Hollis, and Janesville Parker's immovable 6'3", 370-pound run stopper Juan Harris. Remember him? Pretty good. Well, it appeared the Wisconsin volleyball team was on cruise control this past weekend at a sold-house fieldhouse. Bucky was hosting with a chance to advance to the Final Four of the NCAA tournament after an incredible come-from-behind win over Ohio State Friday propelled the women into the round of 8. The Badgers held a 2-0 lead over Stanford on Saturday night, only to see the Cardinal come storming back to take 3 straight and knock out the women. Earlier this season, the Badgers had earned a #1 ranking for the first time in program history. Saturday night's the loneliest night of the week for Badger men's hockey again. Head coach Tony Granato has the team on the verge of a turnaround with Friday night victories in 4 straight series, but all of them have now been followed by Saturday night losses. Bucky won at Michigan 7-4 on Friday before dropping a 4-1 decision on Saturday at Yost Arena in Ann Arbor. Both the men's and women's hockey teams are now on a 3-week break. The women just go into it in a little bit better shape after a sweep at Ohio State that saw the Badgers outscore the Buckeyes 12-0, and Renee Davienne recorded her NCAA leading 8th shutout of the season as the women maintained their #1 ranking in the nation. And the Wisconsin Cheese Cup was the center of attention. Yes, that's the trophy giving out to the winner of the head-to-head series each year between the Madison Capitals and Green Bay Gamblers. Now, after falling at home 4-3 on Friday night at the Coliseum, the Caps got 2 goals from Eugene Fadeev at the Resch Center to beat Green Bay 5-2. The Caps are back on home ice this weekend for a pair of games against the highly touted Team USA under-18 squad. Should be a great chance to catch some NHL talent. I hope to see you out there. Well, for more info on our headlines, yes, all the 411, check out these fine websites. Stick around. We have more interviews than you could throw a snowball at. That's next, here on the Sports News on Wisconsin's 57 Sports. So this morning I shoveled my driveway, so it's a little hard to picture putting on a bathing suit and jumping in a pool, but that's what we're going to do now, is we're going to go inside the natatorium here a little bit as we bring in the head coach and the captain of the boys swim team over at Madison Memorial, as we have Paul Eckerly and David Chen. And fellas, thank you so much for joining us, and if you could, tell everybody how the season has gotten started so far for you guys.
Sure, well, thanks for having us. The season's gotten off to a good start. We've had 2 invitationals. Sun Prairie Invitational was about a week ago, and then during this past week we had an invitational in Brookfield, and we were able to win both of those against some really good competition, so it was a great start for us. We've also had dual meet wins against East and Verona Mount Horeb and Beloit Memorial.
Excellent. You guys have had some great success in the pool, especially recently, so that's good to hear that another season's starting off that way as well. And you also have a Spartans Give Back meet that's coming up with McFarland. If you could tell us all a little bit about the history of that, the events surrounding it as well, and what it's all about.
Yeah, so Spartans Give Back, it's a charity meet that we've been doing with McFarland for the, I think, past 7 years now. And we alternate hosts, and this year, as hosts, we decided to turn our focus to mental health awareness in honor of a local teammate, a local club teammate who recently passed away from a battle with depression. And this year we've decided to promote awareness surrounding mental health in coordination with our local NAMI chapter, the National Alliance with Mental Illness. And in addition to the swim meet itself, where we will be raising funds, we also have restaurant fundraisers and t-shirt sales that have been going on for the past week or so.
Wow, excellent stuff and great to hear. And again, with a lot of the success that has followed your program as well, talk if you could about the goals that you got for 2016 and 17 and how you guys look to improve on what you guys have been doing out there.
Yeah, it'll be tough to improve on what we've done. We lost 14 seniors last year.
Wow.
And so we've got a younger, less experienced team, but we've got some pretty high goals still because we got a good group. We're hoping to be in the top 2 by the end of the year at the state meet, and then being real competitive at our conference championship leading up to that state meet.
So Paul, how do you continue to motivate the kids and build on this winning tradition that you have?
Well, part of it is just the tradition itself helps a lot because each senior class has grown through the program and does a great job as leaders, bringing our younger freshman, sophomore groups along. And then we have a lot of great team building activities that we do, a couple during the off season, a canoe trip, and this year we had a paintballing trip, and we do a lot of potlucks. And so we try to build a lot of team activities outside of the pool to really bring the guys together, and it's really worked pretty well for us.
David, we got about 10 seconds. You're the senior now. You're in that leadership position. Talk about that a little bit. What does that mean for you?
I think, first of all, it's a super humbling role. I mean, when you think about what people have done in the past decade or so, just bringing this level of success, and I think it's been a great inspiring factor in having me as a leader and my other captains and the rest of the team to try to bring the team back up to that same standard that we've had in the past.
Absolutely. Gentlemen, continued success. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Brought to you by Conan Automotive, taking care of you by taking care of your family's car. Lots of Spartans on the show today, and let's keep that whole Spartan kind of theme that we got going in this set right now by bringing in some of the McFarland girls basketball teams. We also have the head coach as well, and Pete Willickett. We got Brooke, Annalise, Mary. They're all here to join us today. And guys, thanks a lot for coming in today. And if we could, let's talk some basketball. And Coach, let's talk about the team a little bit this year and what's your schedule looking like?
We've got a great schedule this year. We've already had 2 tough games against some state-ranked opponents in Monroe and Whitewater. We've played some other great non-cons with Sauk Prairie and Mount Horeb. Oregon will be on the schedule later this year, and we have a really quality holiday tournament coming up as well.
I think one of the things you have to do as a team is kind of self-scout yourself. What are some of your weaknesses? What are your strengths? Brooke, if I was to ask you, what are the strengths of your team, what would you say those are?
We have a ton of varsity experience coming back this year, which is really nice. We work hard every day in practice and apply it to our games. We're committed to playing really solid team defense. We also have really great chemistry, which shows in how well we share the ball together. We also have a ton of offensive weapons, which is obviously a good thing to have.
That sounds pretty good. So now, Mary, if I was asked you, hey, describe the Spartans girls basketball team, what would you say?
If I could describe our team, I'd say we're very unselfish. We really focus on passing up a good shot in order for a teammate to get a great shot. And it's been exciting to watch our team come together and to see everyone play for the girl next to them on the court each and every game.
Wow, from good to great. Always a very good theory to go ahead and apply, especially on the basketball court, so that's great stuff. So, Annalise, as far as the season so far, and I know you guys have just gotten underway, what's the focal point? What are you guys really trying to hone in on?
I think one thing we've really tried to focus on this year is keeping a positive energy and focusing on continual growth each and every day.
Okay, excellent stuff. And Coach, you know, I know that it's kind of young in the season here, but what's been the biggest surprise that you've had from your team so far?
I've been really impressed with how close they've come and how quickly they've done that. We've had to overcome some different adversities this year, and they've just pulled together and they've really gelled and connected as a team very quickly. Excellent stuff, and team chemistry is so important no matter what team you have. So as we look forward here, what's up next for the Spartans, Coach? We've got 3 conference road games on the schedule with Broadhead, Jefferson, and East Troy. And then before we get to the new year, we've got a holiday tournament that's had some great competition. Oconomowoc, a large Division I school from the Milwaukee area, is coming in, as well as Lakeside Lutheran, who's had a great tradition, great season again this year, and then Monona Grove just up the highway there. So it should be some great games. Yeah, that's definitely a packed schedule right there. So guys, thank you so much for coming in today. Have a great holiday. A special thank you to Conan Automotive in Stoughton for supporting local athletics. You know, one of the great things about the athletic department at Waunakee High School is they got such a variety of things that you can do. And for the girls up there, they can even play lacrosse as we bring in the head coach of the Waunakee High School girls lacrosse team. That's Ashley Lochner. And Ashley, thanks for joining us. And if you could, tell us a little bit how you got involved with lacrosse, not only with Waunakee, but with Mela as well.
I originally started coaching lacrosse back in 2009. I'd been working in Waunakee during that time and just kind of stumbled into it. So I helped participate for the first 2 years before it was involved in Mela. Stepped away to go to nursing school, and when that was all said and done, I'd happened to sit down on the couch one day with my husband and say, I really wish that I could get back into coaching again. And the next week I had an email that said, would you come back? We need a coach. So long story short, since 2015 season, I've been back coaching and been a part of the Mela conference ever since. Excellent, and you're part of a sport that's really seeing some explosive growth. I mean, it's something that on the East Coast that's really taken off, and we're starting to see that in the Midwest as well. So what do you expect as far as growth in Wisconsin going forward? Well, in Wisconsin, we are kind of lagging behind some of our sister states like Minnesota, Illinois, and Michigan. For example, last year alone, Minnesota had 83 girls teams sanctioned in the state. Here in Wisconsin, we're not sanctioned yet, but it is a long-term goal. We had 25 teams in the state last year for girls alone, and this year for Mela, we're expecting about 2 to 3 more teams to come in at the youth and middle school level, and we have 1 more team coming in at the high school varsity level, with DeForest advancing into a JV and varsity program. Oh wow, so I mean that's still pretty good growth, and it seems like it's getting more and more organized. So are there expectations, I guess, for players, or can they expect to play beyond high school? Oh, for sure. That's actually one of my biggest pushing points about being a varsity coach, is helping those girls get to the places that they want to go. In prepping for this interview, I did do a little bit of research looking at NCAA websites and then our Lax Power, which keeps track of all my players' stats as they move forward. And right now, best estimates are 1 in every 27 girls that play at the high school level does have the chance to play at the D1 level. Wow. So with 15 players on a team, likely 20 to 25 on a bench, there is substantial opportunity for these girls to keep moving forward and playing at that next level. All right, so for students that are interested in finding out more about getting started in lacrosse, how would they do that, Ashley? So they can go to madlax.org. That is the Mela Association website, which is our conference here in the Madison area. They can also check in with their athletic director of their school. And right now, the really cool thing about lacrosse, if they don't have it in your school, say for example, you play and live in Sauk Prairie, you could co-op with a neighboring team like Waunakee and actually play at that level until your school is able to support a team. Good stuff. Ashley Lochner, thanks for joining us here in the Sports News. Thank you.
Hey, as we're getting into November, it's good to start talking about something other than football. Get inside, get to the hardwood, and we'll talk some basketball as we bring in right now the head coach of the Madison East girls basketball team, James Adams, and we also have last year's leading scorer from that team, Justice Phillip, as we'll talk a little hardwood here with you guys. And first of all, welcome on in. And if you could, Coach, especially talk about some of the goals that you have for your team in this upcoming season.
Well, we got a lot of goals this year. And most teams in the Big Eight, and especially around the state, always have goals of possibly going to state. We try to take it one day at a time, and hopefully we can reach those goals. And the goals are just to be competitive in our conference, hopefully win out our conference, and make a run for state. We have a really solid team this year, and I think we can do it.
Yeah, you talk about being competitive in your conference, and it's always tough in the Big Eight. If you could, talk about where you guys are kind of projected to finish. I think a lot of people got you slotted in for second.
Yeah, I mean, that's a big deal for us. Over the past 6 years, we've been fighting the Big Eight. A lot of top teams, one of the top conferences in the state, and to be put that high in a projection where we're going to be at. It shows a lot of respect that they're giving our players and what we've been doing over the past few seasons.
Non-conference schedule gets a little tough as well. You guys are going to be traveling out of state a little bit, aren't you?
Yeah, we're going to travel down to Minnesota and play St. Paul Como Park. They're a really good squad. Last year they were ranked 7th in the state, and they made a run upstate as well. So we just want to give our girls a little bit more of a challenge. So more challenges we see early in the season, so we can prepare for the run for state in this state.
And now, Justice, talking to you a little bit and talking about some non-conference, conference stuff. Where do you see your season heading this year? As last year you kind of led the team in scoring.
Well, this year I think that it should be better. I mean, we're a veteran team now, and we're just ready to get playing and everything. Friday coming up, we're playing St. Prairie, and I mean, we're pretty excited. It was an honor that they had mentioned us to be second in.
Absolutely. Hopefully then you guys can take that next step forward. And if you could, it always is important to discuss team chemistry. Where does this team kind of fit together? How excited are they to all be together? Speak a little bit, if you could, on team chemistry for you guys.
Well, team chemistry is always obviously a struggle for any team that, plays sports and developing that. When you got a lot of players who are in the same grade, been playing on the varsity level for the past 3 years, we really started to gel over, especially last year. And I think that's the reason why we're probably getting the respect that we're going to get, because we were young, now they're starting their upperclassmen, and our team chemistry definitely has developed, and we're going to be really good this year.
Excellent, should be exciting. Coach, Justice, thanks for joining us here today.
Thank you.
A special thank you to Conan Automotive in Stoughton for supporting local athletics. It's always a good time whenever we talk to one of the Mad Rollin' Dolls, and this week we bring in Allie Gator. And Allie, I gotta ask, is that a mask? Is that makeup? It's fantastic.
Thank you. It's actually a makeup that I do myself. It's theater, oil-based makeup, and I get it from Malat's Pharmacy, who is one of our sponsors.
Oh, wow. Even the plug that she throws out there, absolutely love it. And so, how did you come up with the name? I gotta ask that too, because I'm always fascinated by this stuff. Why Allie Gator?
Allie Gator comes from two different reasons. One is that I have extensive dental work, so kind of chomp chomp. The second reason is that growing up, my parents used to bowl league, and their team were called the Alligators, and I still have their old bowling shirts and stuff. So kind of an homage to the family and an homage to the missing teeth.
And an homage to a different time when people were in bowling leagues.
Yeah,
great stuff. So let's talk about some roller derby and what's coming up. What's special about the event that you guys have coming up on Saturday, December the 10th?
Yeah, we are super excited about the kickoff of season 13 this Saturday. Always a fun matchup. We have a little holiday matchup between the green and the red teams, the Quad Squad, which I am a part of, and the Unholy Rollers. So they'll be opening up the evening with the first bout, and then the second bout of the evening is going to be the Vaudeville Vixens versus the Reservoir Dolls. And it's going to be a great bout. Matchups we've seen in the past, but definitely new teams, new skaters, some returning old skaters for some teams. So it's always interesting to see how the first bout of the season goes. goes.
Yeah, that's always good stuff. And talk to me, if you could, too, I mean, a little bit about the teams facing each other, the dynamics, if there's any history there. How does that all work? Because I think people are always fascinated about the story, not only about the players, but about the teams as well.
Yeah. So Quad Squad, my home team, won the championship last year, undefeated. So definitely coming in this season strong with a lot of returning skaters. But, the team that we played last year for the championship, the Vaudeville Vixens, we're not playing them this Saturday, but they're going to be playing, and they're going to be a team to watch this season. They're coming in with a lot of returning skaters as well, a lot of fire under their belts, and really wanting to strive and compete for Leggy this year. Leggy is of course, our trophy. That is a golden skate leg that we hand around over the years.
Excellent stuff. When I talk to these skaters week in and week out, they take so much pride in what they do and being a part of the community. What do you find rewarding about the whole experience?
There's so many things that's rewarding and really enriching to be a part of the Derby community. I think the community itself, just being able to give back to the community at large that we're a part of. In Madison here, we do a lot of community and outreach events, and we just did one the other day and this last week, Tats for Tots with Ultimate Arts. They do a collection of toys and things to be donated, and they give raffles away, so we help them with that. For the bout on Saturday, we are combining up with the Northside Planning Council, so some of the ticket proceeds will go to them. And so that giving back and just meeting different people, part of the community, and being a woman, I think having the opportunity to make friendships and really close connections as an adult is something that is hard to do sometimes. And so I think it's a really important and really enriching community to be a part of in that sense.
Check it out, roller derby this weekend. Alligator, thanks for being here.
Thanks so much for having me.
A special thank you to Conan Automotive in Stoughton for supporting local athletics. Usually when we talk to On Ice Promotions, we have Ben in, and, as much as we like Ben, it's nice to bring in a fresh face every now and again, and that's what we got right here. The fresh-faced Sean Peterson, who is the tournament operations manager with On Ice Promotions. And welcome on in, Sean. Thanks for spending some time with us. And if you could, talk to us a little bit today about what the Capital City Cup is and how you're involved with that.
Sure. Thank you very much for having me. The Capital City Cup is one of the largest hockey tournaments in the state of Wisconsin. Last year was our inaugural season with the Cap City Cup. We had well over 60 teams. We had all different age levels, from the little guys, the U10ers, all the way up to the big high school kids and the U18s. We have different levels of skill, from just your basic beginners all the way up to the elite players. So it's a great thing for us to bring to Madison. We're happy to do it. It gives our kids a great opportunity. So we look forward to bringing it back to Madison for 2017.
And you talked about having over 60 teams last year. Is that the size of the field this year? Did it grow a little bit? How many teams coming in?
Yeah, we grew a little bit. We're anticipating over 100 teams this year, and with such exponential growth, we decided that we're going to now divide it over 2 weekends, the last weekend of April and the first weekend of May. So we've actually separated it out between the elite players playing on one weekend, and the open players will play on the first weekend. This allows a little bit of separation. Last year we experienced that with the size of the tournament we had, we were almost running out of ice time. So we needed to divide it up. The kids had a great experience, and we anticipate even bigger growth this next year.
That is a huge tournament. So with all of that stuff going on, what is your role within the tournament itself?
I kind of help out with the teams that are coming into town. So I'll work with the area hotels and restaurants and make sure that all of the teams have a quality place to stay and know where the restaurants are. Make sure that all of the team needs are met. And I also help out with coaching some of the local teams as well.
Now, with that many teams, that also brings in a lot of people. What are some of the net benefits, do you think, to the Madison area?
Well, anytime that we can generate some tourism to Madison, gets people a little bit more exposed to what we have going on. They're out spending money at our restaurants and at our malls and our stores and really help boosting the economy. But something that we do that I think is unique about our tournament is that we specifically target weekends that nothing else is really going on. So the hotels and restaurants really benefit from this type of thing because we seek out weekends where there's not a UW commencement weekend or a football game, or some of the larger companies don't have their annual gatherings. So we're looking for those opportunities to fill in some of the stuff where they normally would be lacking.
Scheduling, always important. Sean, thanks a lot for coming on. Good luck with all that.
All right, thank you very much.
Brought to you by Conan Automotive, taking care of you by taking care of your family's car. Thank you to all of our guests that made it in today. Also, a big thank you to you for watching, and a special thank you to our sponsors, including Rick and the boys over at the Red Zone on Regent Street. Check them out online at redzonemadison.com, and Conan Automotive in Stoughton that have been keeping us on the air for years. My name's Rich Reynolds. Join us next time on the Sports News right here on Wisconsin's 57 Sports.